Sketch Talks. Hi, I'm Inkros and welcome to another episode of Sketch Talks, the show in which I draw stuff and then talk about stuff. Truly a riveting description. Anyway, today we're going to be talking about how I came up with the idea for my book, Dragon Queen, which is, by the way, for sale now on Amazon and Kindle in the store. So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about today. A lot of people have been asking me about this topic, and so I'm going to finally tell you all about it. Get ready, because here we go! So first of all, the first idea for Dragon Queen came when I listened to this song, the song we're listening to together right now. It is Braum's theme from League of Legends, Braum being a character in the game. I'm going to go ahead and let you all listen to it for a bit. See what it inspires you to think about. When I heard this, a vivid image came into my head of a tiny Celtic princess running through an enchanted forest, alongside a bunch of little animals around her. Basically, I soon thought of an idea where there was a video game of this little Celtic princess, and she would use a medallion on her neck to transform into different animals, and these different animal forms would allow her to get through different parts of the platforming puzzles. The forest would look a little bit kind of like Ori and the Blind Forest, but more Celtic inspired, some Celtic ruins, stuff like that. And the princess herself would look like the way she is in this video. In fact, the design I'm drawing right now is Aelwyn's original design. Right after I had the idea, I went to my sketchbook and I drew this sketch. And this is the original Aelwyn sketch for her design, so that's what I'm drawing right now. Obviously it's evolved a lot since then, but you can still see a lot of the basic ideas that I really wanted in her design. So yeah, the original concept of Dragon Queen was actually as a platforming video game. Soon after, I really decided that I wanted to have a transformation aspect of dragons involved. I wanted her to be able to use her little medallion to transform into a dragon form. Then I thought about the idea, well, You know, princesses as a title is a little bit overused. What if she was technically a queen? Because being a queen as a title isn't really used for many main characters. Okay, well, she looks like a princess, but she's technically a queen because her kingdom has been destroyed by dragons. But then I wondered, okay, so why can she transform into a dragon even though dragons are the ones that attacked her kingdom? Well, maybe the dragons weren't necessarily evil. Almost all dragons in fictions are bad guys, and I never really liked that. I mean, it's cool to have a dragon as a bad guy, Smaug being a really, really cool example, but in almost all fiction that you see, in folk tales, lore, stuff like that, dragons are always the bad guys. So I thought, okay, well, maybe these dragons are all soulless creatures and their souls had been stolen by some sort of other menace. And because that menace had taken their souls, they were now evil monsters like they are in fairy tales. So that became kind of the concept of the story. This princess, her kingdom is destroyed by the dragons, so she uses a magic medallion to transform into a dragon. And because of that, as she's going through these video game levels, she's able to use both of her forms to do different tasks and get through the level. And she would also be assisted by little cute animals in the forest because, I mean, I don't know. I thought that was cute. And she could do dances and cool stuff like that. And eventually, she would be able to find this menace that had stolen the dragon souls, get the dragon souls back, restore them to the dragons, and be able to save her kingdom. And that was the original concept. Eventually, I kept coming up with so many story ideas of what I wanted to do with this that it got out of hand, very out of hand. It was to the point where I went, okay, this has too much story to it. This couldn't really be a video game. Video games do have complex stories to them, but what I wanted to tell just wouldn't fit with a video game. So instead, I thought, well, maybe what if I just make this a book instead? I've written a lot of things before, but I've never written a big book. I've technically written a few short stories and some unfinished books. I had a lot of unfinished book ideas that I had been writing down for a long time, but with this one I was like, you know what? I have so much planned for this that I feel like I really could actually finish a book and make it a good-sized book. And so that's what I did. I started writing. And as I wrote, a lot of ideas changed and evolved into new ideas, and eventually I came up with, the finished version of Dragon Queen. Geralt's conception as a character was very tumultuous in a sense, because originally I had designed him to be a kind of a lady killer sort of character. Like, he was very debonair and suave with the ladies, and he was very flirtatious. But eventually, as I wrote the story, I kind of moved away from that because it didn't really fit with him. I guess as I wrote, I had an idea of Geralt that evolved a lot. He was no longer just a simple, flirtatious boy anymore. He was no longer ladies' man Link, in other words. He became a lot deeper and complex than what was originally planned, but I think that turned out to be a lot better. He's more of a character now, not just a set of stereotypes. Some people have asked me what my biggest inspirations for Dragon Queen were, and number one definitely has to be League of Legends. more specifically League of Legends music, which is obvious from how the whole concept was created in the first place. But listening to League of Legends login screens and the music they've made for the game, a lot of it is just incredible music. I highly suggest going to the League of Legends SoundCloud page and checking out some of the login screens there, because it's really good stuff, and it's extremely varied too. Zelda, of course, was a little bit of an influence. A little bit of Zelda and Link went into Aelwyn and Geralt. Skyrim as a fantasy concept. Ori and the Blind Forest for visual reasons, mostly backgrounds. Some of MLP when it comes to the fantasy creatures. Some of Narnia when it comes to religious inspiration. Mass Effect when it comes to how, different species and different creatures interact with one another. And some of Star Wars too, just sprinkling that in. And actually there were a lot of concepts that I took from some of my previous My Little Pony headcanons and put into the story. Like there's a twist near the end of the book, which I won't spoil, that was directly inspired by one of my Princess Cadance headcanons. Kara's character as a whole was actually inspired by a League of Legends character called Vi, who's like this punk girl who has huge mechanical fists and is a cop and she busts down people. I really like the concept of a cool punk girl who's doing justice and stuff, and so I kind of took that essence that I got from Vi as well as Vi's theme song and I kind of condensed it into Kara, meanwhile adding a whole bunch of other stuff to Kara to make her unique. A lot of people think that Kara was inspired by Undyne from Undertale, but no, not really. It was mostly Vi from League of Legends. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and give you all a small list of the songs from League of Legends that most inspired my story. First, of course, is Braum, then there's Here Comes Vi, Kindred, Talia, Bilgewater, Jhin, Lunar Revel 2014, Dragon Trainer Tristana, and Tidecaller. You can look those up and hear the awesomeness and the inspiration within the music. Basically, I think the point I'm trying to have come across is music is a huge inspiration for my writing, and I highly recommend you all find a song or a set of songs that really get you pumped and make you think about cool characters, cool situations, scenarios, and stories. Something that is really special to me though is seeing people comment to me on Wattpad or on YouTube saying how my story has inspired them to make their own stories. I am just so honored that people have been inspired by my work, and I really am thankful to all the people who really supported this book, because I would never have finished it if people didn't tell me that they loved it. Thank you so much for all your support. I am really happy that it's finally released, and I am working diligently, or at least trying to work diligently, on book 2. See you in the next video. Bye. If you want to help me out even more, please support me on Patreon. I have a special $5 reward where if you donate $5 a month, then you get to join my private Discord server. It's very small in population right now, but if we get more donations, then we'll have a lot of really cool people talking with me in the Discord. I'd also like to once again mention that my book, Dragon Queen Scarlet Rain, is now on Amazon! Finally! It's taken forever to publish this thing. Anyway, it is on Amazon. It is in paperback form as well as Kindle form, and the links to those two will be in the description below.